What's going on, guys? Josh here from Momentum Productions, and today I have the DJI Mavic 2 Pro drone. I've been waiting for this thing for a while now, and I'm upgrading from my original Mavic 1 version 1. So I did make the decision to go for the Mavic 2 Pro instead of the Mavic Zoom. I felt like it had a lot more features that met my needs. So if you're interested in picking one up of your own, go ahead and check out the link for it in the description box below. You can also check out the link for the Mavic 2 Zoom. So one of the first things I wanted to check out was the Mavic's flight performance, especially when it comes down to gimbal performance in sport mode. On the original Mavic, I had a lot of jerkiness in sport mode, and sometimes I need to get a quick shot in at a high speed. And when the drone doesn't have a powerful enough gimbal to compensate for abrupt movements, you are going to have jerky footage, and that footage can be so jerky that your post stabilizer won't be able to work. So it's important to have a powerful gimbal on your drone in order to compensate for a lot of wind resistance. I'm happy to report that in sport mode, I did not find any jerkiness in the Mavic 2 Pro's gimbal. So I got smooth footage my whole entire flight, regardless of going into sport mode or staying in tripod or regular shooting mode. Now, just like the original Mavic 1, if you enter sport mode, all of your obstacle sensing sensors are turned off. And the biggest improvement on the Mavic 2 Pro is its obstacle sensing systems. And on the Mavic 2 Pro, you get a whole bunch of sensors. You get forward tracking sensors, backward tracking sensors, left and right, top and bottom sensors. However, the left, right, and top facing sensors only work when you're in tripod mode. Now, you shouldn't have to worry about using these sensors when you're outdoors, because when you're outdoors, you have a lot more space to play around with. These sensors are specifically meant for indoors, because when you're filming in tight spaces, sometimes it's very difficult to maneuver the drone and have it maneuver safely around obstacles indoors. So that's a great reason why we have those sensors on there. Another important tip is to shoot in tripod mode. Not only will those sensors kick in, but you'll have a lot more accuracy and you'll be a lot safer. Now, you can also use tripod mode outdoors as well. If you're shooting under a tree canopy or any other tight spaces, don't be afraid to shoot in tripod mode outdoors. It can benefit you both indoors and outdoors. Now, another big major difference that I noticed on the Mavic 2 Pro was its camera. It has a 1-inch sensor, a massive upgrade from the original 1 2/3 inch sensor, and this allows you to get a lot better low light performance. We also have a 100 megabit rate compared to the old Mavic Pro, which gave you 60 megabits, which means that you're gonna get a lot more color data and picture data. That way you can manipulate colors, color correct, and color grade in post-production a lot cleaner than you would with the original Mavic. Now, one of my favorite features about this camera is that it has an adjustable aperture ranging from f2.8 all the way down to f11. So if you don't have an ND filter handy with you, you can easily stop down. Now, another major thing I did notice about this newer camera is that it has a shallower depth of field. So when I was shooting pretty close to my face, which I strongly recommend that you don't do, I just wanted to test out its performance, I got a blurry background. So I was pretty happy about that. So if you're shooting a landscape shot and you want to get a close-up of a certain object with the background blurred out, it's definitely possible with this camera. So when it came down to drone performance, I did notice how much better the Mavic 2 Pro flew comparing it to the original Mavic 1. It was more graceful with its movements, and I was able to control manual orbit shots a lot easier than on the original Mavic. We also have a boost in miles per hour. The original Mavic got me about 40 miles, and on the newer Mavic, we get about 44, 45. So that's pretty similar to the Phantom 4 Pro's performance as well. On the newer Mavic 2 Pro, we have Active Track 2.0, and even from a distance, this thing performed exceptionally well. It kept up with me, and it didn't lose me at all. The farther away you are, the harder it is for the drone to track you. But this drone didn't have any issues whatsoever. Active Track is finally a much more reliable feature on my Mavic 2 Pro. When it comes down to flight time, I did notice a boost in flight time. I was able to get about 24 minutes on the original Mavic, and I get about 27 minutes with the newer Mavic 2 Pro. I wasn't able to get 31 minutes of flight time like DJI tests said you would because I was shooting outdoors, so a lot of factors to consider, especially when it comes down to wind. Another big improvement that I saw on the newer Mavic is its heat dissipation. This drone barely heats up. If we take a closer look at the Mavic 2 Pro, the heatsink has been completely redesigned. The heating vents are placed very neatly within the drone's body. You can barely notice them. However, the fan does kick in and it is pretty loud, but why would you care? You're flying the drone anyway. You're not gonna hear it. The battery itself also stays very cool, a lot cooler than the original Mavic. So if you're a person like me and you're nervous of flying your drone in hot weather conditions, I can tell you right now that the Mavic 2 Pro handles heat very well. I was able to fly in 95-degree weather and the drone barely heated up. When it comes down to noise, the propellers are shaped completely different compared to the original Mavic 1. They have a little lip on the end, and overall they're shaped differently. I did notice a much quieter flight with the new Mavic 2. When it comes down to the remote controller, all the buttons remain the same. We actually have an extra switch on the side that allows us to go into more than 2 modes compared to the original Mavic 1. We have 3 modes instead of just 2. So we have sport mode, regular mode, and tripod mode. So no need to go into the app to set that in there. Another great thing about the remote controller is that it has cutouts for your thumb, so you can actually access your phone while you're flying and you don't have to take it out of the remote controller. On the original Mavic, we didn't have those little cutouts, so it was very difficult for me to unlock my phone. Plus, on the drone itself, you can actually access the SD card without having to unfold any of the legs. Another great little feature with the Mavic 2 Pro is that it has a built-in 8GB SD drive. So if you do forget to bring your SD card to your shoot, you have about 14 minutes of recording time in 4K available to you on your Mavic 2 drone. Now, in order for me to produce my official review on the Mavic 2 Pro, I need a little bit more time. This is just a first impressions video, but don't worry, it's coming out soon, so make sure you're subscribed with those notifications turned on. Alright guys, that's all for now. I'll see you in the next video. Peace!